Happy New Year to all our viewers. As we start 2021, I'd like to challenge all of you to live a life of excellence. I'm going to share with you a story I read from Charles Swindoll's Living Above the Level of Mediocrity. Once upon a time, there was a farmer who found an eagle's egg. So he placed it under the mother hen, and when it hatched, the eaglet thought he was a chicken. So he lived and quacked like a chicken. And one day he saw a majestic bird flying across the sky, and he said, "Look, who's that? I hope that one day I can fly like him." And then his siblings said, "No, don't even think about it. That's the eagle, the king of all the birds. He belongs to the sky, but we chickens belong to the earth." So sad to say, this eaglet lived and died like a chicken. So I hope that this episode would help all of us not to live and die like a chicken, but to soar on wings like eagles. I'm going to share 3 tips on how we can soar like an eagle and live above the level of mediocrity. So my first point is aim high. I got that from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In habit number 2, it says, begin with the end in mind. It means that you start planning your life based on what you want to achieve in your lifetime. So his questions would be like, what do you want to achieve in your lifetime? What would you like written in your epitaph? That's a little morbid, but it helps. So for me, when I thought about it, I said, oh, I want this written in my epitaph. A woman who loves God and a blessing to many. So that's the general overview, right? And of course, I have to come up with the short-term goals to be able to reach that. Like I said, how can I be a blessing to many? Through caring, counseling, and teaching. So you can check out my video, How to Discover Your Passion and Purpose for Success. Having dreams or long-term goals help a lot. It provides direction in life. It helps us not waste time or opportunity. So we need to set long-term goals according to our personality, our interests, talents, and the spiritual gifts God has given to us. And after that, then we form short-term goals to reach those dreams or long-term goals. For instance, when I was younger, one of my long-term goals is to take a doctorate in the United States. And since we are a middle-class family, we cannot afford that. So I know that I need to study hard so I will be able to get a scholarship in the future. So when I went to college, I really studied hard. And by God's grace, I was able to graduate cum laude. And that also helped me to get a partial scholarship when I took my master's at De La Salle University. And graduating with a silver medal also helped me be able to get a scholarship for my doctorate degree in the United States. So it's a good thing I aimed higher. You know why? Before, my aim was not only cum laude when I was in college. It was magna cum laude. But it's so difficult to be able to reach that because at that time, my mom just got sick. We had to take care of her. I have to be a working student. But I still thank God that I was able to make it to cum laude. So my QOTD or question of the day is this. What are your dreams or long-term goals? So please leave a comment below and let me know. So maybe for some of you, it's to have your own house and lot, to be able to provide your kids with good education, to travel around the world. There's nothing wrong with these goals. But I hope that we would also add more noble goals like, oh, I want to start my own business that would hire people with special needs. That way you also earn money for your family, but you also help the community. Maybe it's to be faithful and grow old with my spouse, or to model and instill godly and moral values to my children and grandchildren, or to open an orphanage or a halfway house. And then we have to form short-term goals to be able to reach those long-term goals. And it should be SAM, specific, attainable, and measurable. Like you could say, oh, I want to become a unit or a branch manager by 2021. So that's very specific. and attainable and measurable. By the end of the year, you would know if you have attained it or not. Or you would say, oh, I want to save at least 10% of my monthly income. That's also specific, attainable, and measurable. And did you know that Jesus lived an exemplary life, a balanced life? If you read Luke 2:52, it says this, and Jesus grew in stature and in wisdom and in favor with God and man. So it says that Jesus grew in stature, which means physically he grew. In wisdom, intellectually he grew. In favor with God, spiritually, and in favor with man, socially. So I would like to challenge all of you as we start the year to come up with goals in these 4 different areas, like physical goals. Maybe some of us would say, I want to lose, let's say, 5 pounds a month. Or maybe you said, oh, I don't think I can attain, maybe 2 pounds, or lose or gain 2 pounds in a month. That's specific, attainable, measurable. Or maybe you say, oh, like for me, I need to exercise, let's say 10 minutes every day. Or I need to go to the gym 3 times a week, something like that. Or maybe for some of you who lack sleep, you're too busy, I need to sleep at least 6 hours every day. That's a goal. And then we also have to come up with intellectual goals so that we would grow intellectually. Like for students, get a grade of blank this semester. Or read 2 books in a year. You know what? I started with something like that. It's to start reading, let's say 2 books, and then after that year, oh, I already attained it. So I would increase it. Let's say next year it's gonna be 4. And because of Dr. Joseph Shao, I was inspired. I learned from him that he reads 1 book a week. So eventually I said, oh, I want to be like him, somebody who keeps on learning and growing. And at this point in time, I've already attained that. And this year, since it's pandemic, I've already read 96 books. And it's not all counseling books or relationships or business books. I also read, of course, novels by James Patterson, by John Grisham. And of course, special thanks to my cousin Jameson Gotchingbok. That's because when I was still an elementary student, we live near each other, and he has a very nice library. And he would lend me his Nancy Drew books, Hardy Boys, Enid Blyton, Alfred Hitchcock. That started me at a very young age. So thank you, Jameson. Or maybe said, oh, I want to solve Sudoku or crossword puzzle once a week. Or learn how to speak Korean, Mandarin, or French in a year. Or maybe it's to learn a new hobby like calligraphy, baking. So think about that. Social goals are also important. Like for me, one of my goals is to visit my parents once a month. And then I have to call them once or twice a week. So that's attainable for me. And then for close friends, I would also make it a point to call or have Zoom meetings with them once a month. And then spiritual goals. That's also very important. Like maybe you said, oh, I want to read a chapter a day. Or read through the Bible in a year. Or maybe you say, oh, I think that's hard. Maybe you start with read the New Testament in this year, and the next year it's Old Testament. Then in 2 years, you're able to read through the Bible. Or you said, I want to memorize a verse a week. Or pray, let's say, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day. Or I want to give up a certain sin, like this year, I want to help overcome my temper. And of course, beyond that, we could also come up with financial goals, career, or business goals. And I place all of those goals in my cell phone so that it serves as a reminder, and of course I can review it. My second point is work hard. If we want to be successful, we have to be willing to pay the price. Strive hard to achieve your dream. Study, if you're a student, study hard. Or if you're already working, then we work hard. Don't settle for average, but pursue excellence. Mind you, I don't mean perfection. What I mean is you do the best that you can. So that should be our goal. Did you know that there's a fisherman's daughter who graduated magna cum laude from University of San Carlos Recoletos in Cebu City? Her name is Regine Canete William Mejor. Wow, so that's really inspiring because they came from a less privileged family. So she said she really has to study hard, and her dad would really work hard as a fisherman just to be able to provide her with that education. So she studied hard and she graduated with honors. And she said that her family's love and support encouraged her to do her best. So let's work hard. And That's also the thinking propagated by this book, The Mindset. Working hard actually is what Dr. Carol Dweck in this book, The Mindset, is propagating. It talks about the growth versus fixed mindset. Because people with fixed mindset, they think that, oh, people are born with intellectual capacities, talents, so they don't need to work hard. If they need to work hard, then it's no longer theirs. But for people with a growth mindset, they know that, oh, they have the heart to learn, they want to improve their craft, and they become very successful. So, let me share with you one story that right now a lot of people would resonate with. When you watch Netflix, and we watch this movie, this series too, a lot of people are now watching Queen's Gambit. It talks about a chess prodigy, but the story is fictional. But what I'm gonna share with you is true to life. Did you know that there's the Polgar family from Hungary? This family produced 3 of the most successful chess players ever, and they're all female. And Susan said that that's because her father believed that innate talent is nothing. 99% of success is hard work. And she said that that is the example of her sister Judith. Judith is considered the best woman chess player of all times from 1989 to her retirement in 2014. So that's a span of 25 years. She became a grandmaster at the age of 15. And yet, she really is very hardworking. That's why she became very, very successful. So in Stephen Covey's habit number 3, it talks about put first things first. It means we need to set priorities to do the most important things first. Avoid procrastinating, or we have the mañana habit. Oh, mañana, later, I'll do it later. No, we do it now. We start and finish projects on time, and we have to be disciplined. We do our tasks whether we feel like it or not, and we don't dump our workload on others. That means during our free time, we have to avoid watching too much Netflix, playing too much video games, or surfing the net too much, or sleeping too much. Take note, I said too much, because it's okay to have our de-stressing times. It's okay to watch Netflix, to surf the net, to play video games, to sleep, but we just have to strike a balance. And if you want to be promoted at work or succeed in business, one thing we have to show that we are really working hard is to be punctual. To be punctual when we have meetings, to meet deadlines, especially if we have quotas. And of course, I'd say on my part, I also read a lot of books to improve my profession. Let's say I read a lot of books on counseling, I attend seminars. Let's say for this book, out of the 90 plus books I've read, 25 books are related to counseling. I also watch other YouTube videos to improve how we're doing this, because I'm not very familiar with social media or YouTube, so I have to learn. So I have to work hard for us to improve. And looking for mentors and also mentoring others, that would also help. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for men. That's the advice by the Apostle Paul in Colossians 3:23. I'd like to encourage you through the story of Zenaida Corcuera, the Mani Queen of Laguna. She began selling sampaguita, water, and peanuts when she was only 6 years old. She and her 12 siblings, they bathe, eat, and sleep inside the train station. And one time, she had to wait for the last trip of the train to be able to sell her sampaguita. So even if she was so sleepy, she was so tired, but she has to keep wide awake. Starting that time, she said, I want to work hard so that I want to outgrow this poverty. And she did. So she worked hard, and eventually she was able to save an amount of money. So she started cooking and preparing her own peanuts. And she encouraged other people to sell it. And to make the long story short, now she has her own company, and she even exports skinless mani, yema, banana chips under the name Zeni. So it shows that hard work really pays off. Another is Aling Trining Climaco. She started out as a garbage collector. So when she was young, but she's smart, she said, I'm earning some money. So she hired 3 more scrap peddlers and she asked them to get more garbage and sell it to her. So she gave them money and then she would sell all of this garbage for a profit. So slowly she earned money. And eventually, she now is able to own her own junk shop in Taytay, Rizal, and she owns a 3-story house. And all her children were able to finish college. So let's all work hard to achieve our dreams. And lastly, it's to develop soft skills. What are soft skills? These include the personal attributes that enable someone to interact effectively and harmoniously with other people. So soft skills involved or would include confidence, adaptability, creative thinking, empathy, assertiveness, communication, teamwork, and conflict resolution. So I'm going to talk about this next week. But in the meantime, you can check out our playlist entitled Enhancing Your EQ. I've already talked about like how to change your perspective, how to make others feel special by validating their feelings. That's about empathy. And so as you start planning your life and planning for 2021, pray and claim God's promise in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 to 13. It says, the Lord says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and to give you a bright future. Then you will call upon me and pray to me, and I will answer. You will seek me and find me if you seek me with all your heart. So for the winning mindset for 2021, aim high, work hard, and develop soft skills. So may all of us attain our dreams in life. See you next week.